Hello fellow Sudokans and welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku puzzle. It's Monday the 12th of June 2023. I hope you are keeping well. It's early Monday morning here in Bangkok. Super early actually. I'm awake just to play this game for you before I start work. And I'll try and get in one more game today, but to be honest with you, I have a new schedule today and work is... I'm going to be busy all day. Monday is a day when we hope to get new viewers to the channel because it's a day for beginners. Easy level Sudoku, beginner level Sudoku, every Monday. And so welcome to the channel. If you're wondering why this channel has such a weird name, well, it's because it's a kind of daily blog for me to chat about anything in the news or possibly getting older. Oh dear, that's one of life's injustices and other injustices in the news and news stories and anything else that I feel like talking about, anything that's on my mind to either chat about, rant about, explain about, whatever. And then it's accompanied with a game of Sudoku to go with it of different levels, but they're all newspaper games, which means they're not of the most difficult variety where some of them will cause your brain to explode, some of the internet games, I think. What's going on in the news? Well, I don't have too much time to talk about stories in detail, but several things have happened. Barry Humphries has been the late Barry Humphries has been given an award in the latest honours list for King Charles. I'm sure he would have accepted. But isn't any award a step down from damehood? Some other news from Australia. Just short time ago, there has been apparently there are news reports of a vehicle crash in which 10 people have died. It seems to be like people going to or from a wedding. So we'll hear more about that, I guess, in the news as the news develops. And Nicola Sturgeon was arrested in the UK. Wow. Of course, there have been, there were no charges. Her husband was arrested earlier in the year and released, and now she has been arrested and interviewed and released also. The hunt for the missing money goes on. Quite surprising that though. Yeah. Anyway, we'll find out more about that also as things develop. But like I say, I've got things to do today, and I do have to explain the rules of Sudoku. So, with your permission, I should get on and talk about the Sudoku, how to play the game. We have 9 squares in every row across. You can see we have a large grid of 81 squares, 9 across by 9 down. And you can see there are numbers on the board already. Somehow it looked like a mushroom falling over, I have a feeling. Maybe it's a psychedelic mushroom or something. But anyway, there are numbers randomly placed. They're not randomly placed though, because they will come out to a solution. What is the solution? Well, we have to place numbers between 1 and 9 in every square of the grid. So we have 9 squares across, so we can fit numbers 1 to 9 in every square across. We have 9 squares down, we fit numbers 1 to 9 in every square down, but we're not finished yet because you'll see these black lines which delineate small grids of 3 squares by 3 squares, and we also have to put the numbers 1 to 9 in there. And once we've done that, we are allowed to get on with our work or do whatever it is we want to do for the rest of the day. Okay, so shall we get on and lead to our successful conclusion? How do we go about doing this? Do we just guess? No, we never guess. This is a game of logic. Do I need to be good at maths? No, not at all for the classic Sudoku. No maths involved. Just the ability to count up to 9. And that's not really the ability to count, just the ability to recognize different numbers between 1 and 9. Right, you will see there is a 1 here. When I click on the 1, it's highlighted. I'm playing the game on SudokuExchange.com. Little plug for that website. You can fill in the numbers there of a puzzle yourself, or you could print the Guardian's game and play it on pencil and paper, which I recommend for beginners. Now, because we have a 1 in this row already, we know that 1 can't reappear in this row. We also know 1 can't be in this column, and we also know 1 can't be in this grid. So actually we have this particular digit 1 blocks all of these squares from becoming a digit 1. I'm interested in this block over here, okay, and I'll show you why. I'll click on it again. So we know that none of these 3 squares can be digit 1 because we have a 1 here. We've got a digit 1 in this row as well, and that blocks across all the way across here like this. I think you can see where I'm going with this, can't you? I hope you can. Now we've got a 1 down here, and this blocks up here into this column, right, and blocks all the way to the top, but we're not interested. We're interested in this block here. So we know that 1 is disallowed from these 7 squares, and we already have a 9 in this square. We can't squeeze more than one number into a block, into a box, cell, if you prefer the term. We sometimes call them cells or squares. And so this is the only square available. So I know that the 1 must fit there because it can't go anywhere else. There is no room at the in for it to go anywhere else. Got it? Okay. So all we need to do is go around the puzzle looking for things, similar kinds of things. Let's take the 9 blocking across this row here, and the 9 blocking across this row here, and the 9 blocking up here. Quite similar to what I did with the 1s on this side. Now I'm doing something similar over here with the 9s. We already have a 5 here. This empty square is what? Yes, of course, it's a 9. Okay, now we take that 9 that we just put in rather, and we use it to go up to the top here. And we can take this 9 to go up to the top here. And we take a 9 to go across this square here. We have a 7 here already. I think you can understand. A 9 fits into this square here. Got the idea now? Okay, I'm very pleased. So let's say something else. Right now, this row across here, we have 3, 7, 4, 2, and 9. Do we have a digit 1 yet? Answer, no, we don't. So we still need a digit 1 in one of these empty squares, right? We've got 4 empty squares, and one of them must be a digit 1. So let's have a look over here first. In this block here, we have 1 already. So we know that this 1 disallows any other square from becoming a 1, right? So this 1 blocks both of these squares here. Over here, you can see a 1 blocking up this column, and that means that this square can't become 1. So look, across here, there is only 1 free square. We know that the 1 must appear here because it can't appear in these 2 squares because of this 1, or if you like, this 1 down here blocking up also, and this 1 here. Okay, I think you're really getting the idea now, aren't you? And you're beginning to go, aha, I see, I should have played Sudoku years ago. 3 blocks down here, 3 blocks up here, and 3 blocks across here. We know that 3 is in that square, right? 3 that we just put in, blocks across here, 3 blocks across here, only 1 empty square to go, 3 must go there. Right, okay, now you've really understood it. 5 blocks across here, this is a 5. We needed just a 1 blocking across here. There was only 1 empty square. So as you see, as we fill in the numbers, we're left with fewer and fewer options. 5s block across here like this. There's a 5, and that should make the game slightly easier, but it doesn't always when you get to the hard levels, I can tell you. Okay, now we can do a bit of let's see what goes in these 2 missing squares here. We have 1, 2, 3. We don't have 4. We got 5, 6. We don't have 7. So we know that 4 and 7 must be in these 2 squares, right? Nothing else, because we need these 2 squares to finish this row. Got it? 4 and 7 are in these 2 squares. So can a 4 and a 7 appear in these 2 squares? Answer, no, definitely not, because a number can appear in its block only once. So this is 4 and 7. These 2 squares must not be 4 or 7. So we can see what they are. We've got 1. Do we have 2? No. So one of the numbers is 2. We've got 3. Do we have 4? Do we have 4? Yes, we do, because 4 is in one of these 2 squares. 5, 6, 7. Do we have 7? Yes, because 7 is in one of these 2 squares, 4 and 7. So we've got 2. Do we have 8 anywhere? Answer, no, we don't. So we've got 9 already. So we know that these 2 squares must be 2 or 8, because this is 4 and 7 here. Okay? So these 2 squares can only be 2 or 8. Now actually we've got intersecting 2 and we've got an intersecting 8, so you could do this in either way. If you see the 2 blocking this square, we know that this has to be 2. Or if you see the 8 blocking this square, we know that 8 has to be here. Either way, we can get both of those digits. Can we get the 4 and the 7 yet? No, we can't, not yet. So we have to come back and look for that later. We'll need some numbers up and down the columns before we can decide which is 4 and which is 7. We'll come back to that later. Okay. Right, so let's continue on our journey and look somewhere else, because we can't do any more here just yet. We might look up here and say, can we do anything up here? What are the missing numbers? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't have 6. We don't have 7. Can we tell which is 6 and which is 7? We look up and down the column and say, no, we can't. So we have to leave that for now. But we know that this is 6 and 7, and so we can work out what goes along here. This is 6 and 7. So we've got 1. Do we have 2? No. 3? Yes. 4? No. So 2 and 4 must go here, because we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we know that this has to be 2 and 4. You could also say 2 and 4 block across here, and that leaves just those squares for 2 and 4. There are various ways to find these numbers, okay, but they all use logic. Now we've got 2 and 4 here. When we look down here, this time we can see an intersecting 2, so we know that this square here cannot be 2. We know that the 2 is here, and we know that the 4 must go in that square there. Okay. We can look at the missing numbers across here, see if we've got anything. It's going to be 6, 7, and 8, but we've got intersecting 7. That's not enough information for us to tell which is the 6, 7, and 8 just yet. We have to come back to that another time, at another point. Okay. On the subject of 6s, we have 6 blocking up here and 6 blocking across here, which will give us a 6 in that square. Now we can say the 6 blocks here, and so the 6 goes here, and then the missing number here is going to be a 7. Right. We have 3 blocking all the way to the top here, and that means that 3 has to go into this square here. Now we have 3s blocking across here and across here and up here, and that's going to give us a 3. If you think I'm finding these numbers quite quickly, that's just because of the fact that I've played thousands of games of Sudoku in my lifetime. Once you've played a few dozen, you'll be able to play it just as fast, if not faster than this. Just takes a bit of practice, like everything in life, of course. Now we have 8 blocking up here and 8 blocking up here, and that's going to give us an 8 in this square here. Let's see what 2 numbers are missing for this row. What don't we yet have? We don't have 5 and we don't have 6. We've got everything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. So 5 and 6 are in these squares here. And when we look down here, we spot our 5, which is in the same column as this. And so we know this can't be 5. We know that that's got to be 5. And this must be our 6 now. Now back to this. Now, do you remember what I said was missing here? Probably not, but it was 6, 7, and 8. These 3 numbers, missing numbers here, are 6, 7, and 8. We need them to finish the row across here. We need 6, 7, and 8. But now we have something new, because now we have 6 and we have 7 in the same column. So when we look at this square here, we ask ourselves, can it be 6? No. Can it be 7? No. Well, there's only one option. It has to be 8, because everything else is taken. Now we'll look at the ends of these two, the ends of this column, and we'll say the missing numbers are 2 and 4, what we don't have for this column. And very clearly, right next to this square, we have a 2. Can this be 2? No, of course not. That must be 2 up there. And to finish this column, 4 will be here. Now that 4 blocks across here like this, 4 blocks down like this, and here's a 4 we can place. Now this 2 blocks this square here, so we know that that has to be a 2. And there's only one number left for this block here, What is it? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have a 5, so we know that that's a 5. And now at the end of this column, there's only one number missing. We've got 1, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. We don't have an 8. We know that this is an 8. Now, you could have just said 8's block down like this. That's another way of finding the same information. Okay, 8 does block across here and across here. So that's going to put an 8 into that square. And then the 8 blocks up here and 8 blocks across here. And that's our final 8. What do I mean final 8? Well, each small grid, 3 by 3, contains numbers 1 to 9. And now we have all of the 8s. 8 in every column, 8 in every row, and 8 in every block. There are no more digit 8s to find, so we only have to find the other numbers now. He said, sometimes that sounds like a really easy thing, sometimes it's really not. 7 blocks across here like this, which will give us a 7 in that square. The 7 blocks down here, meaning this is a 7, and we earlier, if you remember, we had 6, 7, and 8. Probably not remember. 6 is the last number that we need to finish this row. 6 now blocks down here, and a 6 goes here. And the last number for this block here is a 9. 9 then will block up here, and that will give us a 9 there. And the last number to place here is a 4. We don't have a 4 in this block. We also don't have a 4 in this column. The game has only one solution, so there we go. There's only one number missing in this row now. It's a 5. Let's place the 5 like that. What's missing up here? It's 1 and it's 4. Can we get which is which answer? No, not yet. We don't have enough information. And this was 4 and 7, and we still don't have the answer for that yet. Oh dear. So let's look down here and see what we have in this column. We've got 1, 2. We don't have 3. We don't have 5, and we don't have 7. So we're looking for 3, 5, and 7 in these 3 squares to complete this column, right? 3, 5, and 7. And what do we notice? We notice that the 3 and the 5 are in the same row. So 3, 5, 7 in these 3 squares, 3, 5 here. What does it mean? It means that this square here cannot be 3 or 5. It must be 7. Okay. And where do we go now? This 9 blocks these 2 squares, but we don't have a 9 in this row yet. Or you could say 9 blocking across here like this and 9 blocking across here like this. Either way will give us a 9 in that square there. Missing numbers here now are 1 and 2. We don't have 1 and 2, but we have an intersecting 1 and an intersecting 2. So we know that the 1 is there and the 2 is there. Now we can take that 1, take it to the top, and that gives us a 1 in this square, and the missing number here is a 4. 4 blocks down here gives us the 4 here. The missing number here now is a 7. And if this is too fast for you because you've never played Sudoku before, just go back, watch it again. You'll help me, give me more YouTube views. Slow it down, stop it where you need to, go back and replay any small part that you need to. That's the final digit, 7. We now have 7, 8, and 9 finished. We don't have any more of those numbers to look for. What's the missing number in this column? I think it's a 5. It is indeed 5. 5 blocks across here like this. 5 goes down. That's a 5 we can place there. And now we're just looking for a 3 to finish off this column. That goes there. Now the 3 goes across here and 3 blocks down here. That gives me a 3 here. And that's the final digit, 3 as well. 1 blocks across here like this. That gives me a 1 here. That's the last digit, 1. And in this block, we're still looking for a 2. That's the last digit, 2. Down here, what are we looking for? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't have a 6 yet, though. So let's put the 6 there. And here we are looking for a 4, and that will finish the game. So that's our beginner level puzzle from The Guardian. Look for every Monday. There is a playlist on this channel of easy level games for you to practice with. And there's lots and lots of them in there, so it's practice that you need. Don't just watch the videos, you have to play the games yourself. That's it. Thank you. Bye bye.